Actress Ikpe Etim's recent revelation that she is unable to have children has once more brought to the fore the stigma associated with barrenness in our society. Her story has brought to the fore once again a lot of issues, such as which is the fact that in our society, a woman's womanhood, if I should use that, is validated by her ability to have children. But should that be so? On the show Root Course today, we are focusing on all the other methods in which a woman can have children and how ready we are to embrace these alternative methods. My name is Gloria Oji Emade. And to have this conversation with me right here in the studio, we have a consultant gynecologist in the person of Dr. Sunday Ono. Welcome, Dr. Sunday.
Thank you, viewers.
All right. Now, in our African setting, why is it that childbearing is like the criteria for measuring womanhood? In fact, if a female can't have children, she's a man, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, the traditional African society, it has to do with tradition, actually. Because if you take our history back then, most of our grandparents were farmers, and you know, the more children you have, the wealthier you are, because the more people you have to go to farm for you, and the more land actually you inherit in terms of inheritance. So children were measures of wealth in those days, and a home without a child is considered an abnormal home. The Bible says that we should go, multiply, and replenish the world, replenish the earth.
Exactly.
That is giving a command for reproduction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How can women have their own children? Notice I didn't use the word conceive. Okay. How can women have their own children beyond just the traditional man meets woman, she gets pregnant and have babies? Because we know medicine has really developed.
The groundbreaking method of IVF, that's in vitro fertilization, you know, in the 70s, has actually brought into the fore the fact that these things can be solved. And over time, IVF have developed, and super technology have developed on top of the IVF to improve chances of people being able to conceive. The process was developed to overcome female problem, those with blocked tubes, those, I mean, you know, that have those challenges. The process of IVF involves giving some injections to help the woman produce egg, more than the usual number of one that is produced naturally. But when IVF started, injections were not even given. We followed the women, their natural pattern. The one egg that they produce per month, the egg is harvested and used for the process. But because of that, the outcome, that the success rate was very low. So advancement was made in order to, we call it stimulate. That is to enhance the ovary of the women to produce more egg, because the more the merrier, you know, so that there will be choices of getting an embryo and eventually a transfer. Injections are given, and the woman is monitored, you know, to see how the eggs are developing in the system. And at a point, the eggs are sucked out of the system. No operation these days. In the past, yes, some little form of minimal operation, but now no operation. Everything is done under scan, ultrasound scan guidance. The egg is aspirated, that's sucked from the ovary of the woman, examined in the lab condition under the microscope. The sperm is obtained from the man, and the sperm is used to fertilize the egg under the laboratory condition. All these things are not happening in the human body. So, I mean, at that point, the woman or the man physical mating is not necessary. It's not important. All we need is the man has a sperm, there's egg from the woman, and there is a womb that we're going to put the fertilized egg back into.
Now, you know, we hear that these things fail. In fact, I've heard of a woman who tried 13 times. It was the 14th time she was able to conceive and have this baby.
Yes, very true. It fails because it's not automatic. Because after the embryo transfer, once we put the embryo, that's the fertilized egg that is growing, back into the womb, every other event that happens from there will follow the natural process. So, I mean, we still have the God factor, you know, to come in order to make this thing work. There are so many things that determines whether this thing works or not. And sometimes there might be no noticeable factor. A lot of things happen at the implantation level. That is when you put the egg back into the womb, you know, the egg has to fix itself to the wall of that's the fertilized egg, that's the embryo. Now it has to fix, that's what we call implantation, and embed and continue to grow. Sometimes, for one reason or the other, whether the environment is hostile or, I mean, the hormonal environment is not very good, or the structural environment that is in the womb now has a problem, you know, the implantation process might be hindered. And eventually there will be no pregnancy. And then you have to go through that cycle. You have to go through the cycle again. But let me just tell us something to be mindful of. When we say, because whenever you go for exam, you want to write an exam for instance, they say 50% is pass mark. You know, 50% is pass mark. Oh, everybody wants like 90% or thereabout. But in IVF, when we're talking of fertility, we should be mindful that naturally, when there is no problem, that is a man and a woman relationship, no problem at all. The man is 100% good, the woman is 100% good. If you put 100 women and men, a couple, that are normal, in a month, not more than 20 of them usually will achieve conception. So the natural fertility rate is not like, 100%, so to say. Now, when you have that situation and you are doing IVF, that is offering you something even higher, like 50, 60, 70%, even 40, people will say, why is that small? But it's much, much more than what the nature, provides. 2, when you meet a couple who are unable to achieve conception, because of an obvious problem, that's why they are coming for IVF. You know, naturally, they have like a 0 chance or a 1% chance or a 2% chance naturally. And you are now giving them a 60%. If you look at the differentials, 1% or 60% is several thousand% increment from what ordinarily they have. So we should not look at that as a figure, because most of us aren't able to interpret what 50% or 60%. Exactly. As far as it's not 100%, it means it's not workable. Yeah. Yes, I mean, we have heard those stories. I mean, in the case of the actress who had to remove her uterus, for women like that, are their chances over? They're no longer able to have children? It's full stop, it's done? Are there still other options? Oh, there are other options. It's not done. You know, there are some people, even without removing the womb, because the womb has a problem, you know, that such that it cannot even carry, or the woman has a medical problem that, you know, if she carries pregnancy, it's going to complicate her life. You know, there are options. The ovary is there. When they removed the actress womb, the ovary probably were left behind. The ovary is the site of egg production. The womb is there to carry the pregnancy. So, if she has the ovaries, I mean, she can still produce egg that can be used for the purpose of IVF, but she will have to rent a womb from somebody else. And that's what we call surrogacy, gestational surrogacy. You know, there are people who are there to help. It could be a family. It could be a commercial, commercial and quote, not commercial as per they're in the market. There are people who are there who are willing to help women do that. All they need is just compensation for time loss and, you know, I mean,
and that exists here in Nigeria?
It exists. It exists.
As in you've got women who are out there willing to be surrogates?
Yes, it exists.
Talk to me about egg donation. I have heard that because all the scenarios that you have, shown us are situations where a woman's ovaries work. Yeah. So the eggs are harvested, whether she carries them or a surrogate. But what are about situations where a woman's ovaries doesn't work? She doesn't produce eggs. Can she still have children?
Yeah, I mean, even when they are menopausal, 53, 60, so far they have a womb. I mean, all this we're discussing now, we call it a third-party assisted reproduction. That's a third party is coming in, apart from the couple. A third party is coming in. Egg donation has actually been existing for a very long time, and there are some women who, by one reason or the other, because they are aged, their ovary is not producing again, or because of an earlier problem, their ovary have been removed, or they have an early ovarian failure, premature ovarian failure. Such don't produce egg any longer. So they can adopt egg. That's egg adoption, or I mean, that's get a donor, a younger person to donate egg for them for the purpose of reproduction.
Is the egg donor required to sign certain papers to give up the rights to that egg?
Exactly. There's a consent. There's an informed consent that the egg donor signs, and there are laws guiding, all this in various countries. Even in this country, our association now, is working seriously on bringing out a final phase of the law guiding every aspect of this fertility treatment. Recently, it was launched in Lagos, and Abuja is following suit, and it will be all around the nation, because we need to be guided by strict laws to protect innocent women out there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dr. Sunday, thank you so much for taking time to explain all of this to us. So for those women who are listening, and basically if you've got a family member who is going through infertility, Dr. Ono just listed some of the options, some of the alternatives that you can look at. Having children is possible with today's advanced medicine. So why not try all the options? A big thank you to you once again. Please go to our comment section to give us your thoughts on what we have discussed. My name is Gloria Oje Emode, and you've been watching Root Cause.